Welcome in, Spurs Bros, to episode 27 of the Spurs Bros podcast. It's been one heck of a week for Spurs basketball. Not a lot of wins, but Harrison Barnes had a buzzer beater. Keldon Johnson has set a major Spurs franchise record. Tune in towards the end for our talk on Keldon Johnson. We're going to review the last 4 or 5 games here, preview the upcoming 2. Also, what is Devin Vassell's future with the San Antonio Spurs? Lots of talk on that, including his contract relative to his production value this season. We have our weekly tankathon spin, and then at the end, we do talk a bit about the current head coaching situation with some of the openings that have come up in the last week or so in the NBA. If you're listening right now, please go down, hit that subscribe button, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment if you like what you're hearing. We love the community that we're building. We want to keep going. And we are not done. The Spurs are nearing the end of the season, but we are going to keep going throughout the offseason. There's lots of Spurs stuff to talk about. And if you're looking for your source of Spurs podcast content over the summer, the Spurs Bros podcast is the place to be. Episode 27 is coming at you right now.
Spurs Bros. What is going on? This is episode 27, the Riley Minix episode of the Spurs Bros podcast. How are we doing tonight, boys?
Riley Minix.
Great to see.
Doing well.
Good.
Doing well.
Good, boys.
Good. This Spurs Bros, we've got to say a heartfelt thank you from the top, from the jump. We want to say a heartfelt thank you to those of you who stuck around this whole season. We still have another week left of Spurs basketball, but we are at the very end of the season, of the 2024-2025 season. We're going to probably keep going throughout the summer as well. We'll keep recording and stuff. But still, we get to wrap up as a podcast our first Spurs season going into next week. So
what a ride.
I know. What a ride. What a ride. It was mostly downhills. It was a little bumpy. It was bumpy. We had a couple of tick. We had a little couple of ups, but mostly drops.
But like, what a season to start potting. I mean, even the outside stuff with Pop, Wemby, getting Fox, our biggest sign, like probably the biggest move we've ever made. You know, I mean, good season to start. Obviously, we sucked, but we can look at some positives of it.
Oh yeah,
I think we're primed for next year, though. Points. Yeah, we're primed for next year, and I think it's. I've had a ton of fun getting back into it. I feel like Wemby last year kind of reinvigorated our interest. Well, as a collective Spurs fans. But then 22 wins again, it was like deflating. And then if you look at the 2024 portion of this year, it was like, oh boys, we're back.
We're 500.
We were talking about race for Sace and everything. So I got put on hold in 2025, obviously. But we get to this fall, and I think we're cooking with grease.
Yeah.
I got a flashback from like one of our earliest pods where I remember we were like, are we a playoff team? Are we second round playoff team? I remember early in the year.
Oh my God.
That's
we were
funny,
all convinced.
but in hindsight from back then, dude, we were like, look, we were 500. We were losing a lot of games by like 1 or 2 possessions, but we were like, dude, if Mitch just coached, if we had Pop, like
Cohan missed time.
Games, yeah. So, I mean, it was fair back then, but now
in hindsight,
we're like, oh, dude, we were idiots. There was no way in hell we were ever a second-round playoff team. So
that's what fandom is. That's what being a fan is, right? We always try to we get wrapped up in the emotions, and it just takes us off, and it's fun to be in that mindset versus here at the end of the season and facing the reality of a 33, maybe 34 win season. So,
I forget what the projections were beginning of the season.
I think we all made our predictions. I remember, of all people, I was the most optimistic. I think I gave us 42 or something, and then all y'all were in the high 30s.
Yeah, I've got it right here. So Alec had us at 38. I had us at 37. Tim at the time was 34. Right. And then Stewart had us at 42. Dang, 42 and 40, you said. So
who would have thunk I was the optimist?
We were close to that pace.
We were. Honestly. We would have been.
Dude. Tim though, he's gonna be pretty much on point.
Yeah, that's true.
34.
Yeah, if we win one of the next two,
the over-under was 35.5. So Vegas does it again.
At the beginning of the season,
we're going to be 35. Yeah.
It was 35.5. Dang.
Yep.
You know what's wild is if with the full healthy squad and say if everything went according to plan and we got Fox, we would be like,
Like
think about
pop
well,
included.
well, yeah. I mean, think about look at the top of the West. I mean, like 3 through 8
Oh yeah, it's
was
three
like,
through yeah.
yeah, it's all separated by like 2 or 3 games. I
We could have
mean,
fell anywhere in there, man. We could have.
yeah,
Dude, a couple days ago, 4 through 8, it was Nuggets, Clippers, Grizzlies, Warriors, Timberwolves were all tied.
it's wild,
They were tied at like 46 and 32 or something.
which is crazy
Uh,
to think about.
That takes us back to
insane.
that one year. Remember where we like lost the last game of the season and we fell from like third to seventh or eighth?
That
Yes.
was the year that we lost to the Clippers. That was 2015.
Ah,
That was the
okay.
year we lost to the Clippers with the Chris Paul buzzer
Oh,
beater
game
over
seven.
Danny and Timmy. Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. We were
Yep.
defending the title. It was like, yeah, the one game, second or
So
third
dumb.
down to seventh, and it was like a one game. You look at the matchup, and it was a 1-win difference or a 2-win difference between us and the Clippers, but we were the 7th seed. It was crazy. So
Yep.
yeah, it's kind of like that all over again.
And everyone was like, that is not a first round matchup intensity. Like it
Absolutely
was,
not.
everyone was saying
That
outside,
was a
inside.
final. That was a
That was like
Western Conference Finals.
yeah, it was that intense, dude. All right, we digress. We'll go back. Spurs Bros, as we kind of cruise toward the end of the season, we have some, there's no good news or bad news. It just is, right? We just wanted to see how the boys in. We can't get better than 8th place odds in the draft. So it's kind of just like go out there and play hard and have some pride. And in doing so, the last time we talked, or since the last time we talked, we won against the Nuggets. We lost to the Cavs by 1. Had a chance to win at the buzzer. And then we lose to the Blazers, the Clippers, and then we just won most recently last night at the buzzer against the Warriors in Golden State, 114 to 111. We'll get into all of that. We don't really need to cover the Blazers and Clippers, and we can just kind of touch on a few of these things for the Nuggets. The one thing is Devin Vassell wasn't playing, and Stephon Castle had a 15, 15, and 9 game. As Stephon Castle has said, he's like, yeah, I think I pretty much got this Rookie of the Year thing wrapped up now. So, and
Yeah, he finally came out and
I
like
love
just
it.
showed a little bit of his ego a little bit, which I
Yeah.
loved.
yeah,
I loved. That's the only storyline that we've been hanging on to for
Yup.
weeks now. So
Yup.
for him to come out there and like kind of acknowledge it, like, yeah, I've been pushing for it. Yeah, I want it. And yeah, I know I have it. That was sick.
I was sick. That's good.
He's been itching for a triple double too. He still hasn't hit one, but
He's
I mean,
close.
every game now it's like even if it's 15, 20 points, but it's 8, 7 assists, rebound. Like he's getting high up there, close to triple double pretty much every night now. I would love to hit it for him to hit one by the end of the season this next week.
Oh yeah, that was really the big thing. It was just funny again because we beat the Nuggets whenever they needed to win most.
But they sat everyone. I mean,
I know, but still, I mean, aren't they where are they right now? They're 4th place. I mean, sheesh, they shouldn't have. I don't know
Yeah,
why
I
they
think
did.
I think it was a back-to-back
Oh
for
yeah,
them.
they just lost against the
Wasn't it a
Lakers.
double overtime game
Mm.
against the
Double
Lakers?
overtime. Yes,
Yeah.
that's what it was.
They lost to the Timberwolves in overtime by 1.
Oh, it was a Timberwolves. That's
And
right.
then yeah, and that
by
was in Denver. And then we showed up the next day. Yeah.
And I've been hearing some rumblings that it was sort of Russell Westbrook's at the fulcrum point at this whole thing.
Dude, you
little
didn't
bit.
see that? Oh my
About what?
God. I'm a Russ stan, okay? Like
What?
I'm a Russ defender. I love Russell Westbrook, okay? I know he's got his flaws. I know he has his deficiencies, but 2017 I will remember till the day that I die. That season from him was off the charts. There's off the charts, and then there was Russell Westbrook in 2017. It was crazy when he won MVP. But no, so he was at the free throw line. I think he missed either 1 or 2 free throws at the end of the game. They were up 2, and then Wolves get the rebound off the miss. They come down and they kick it to, I think it was Nickeil Alexander-Walker in the corner. Basically what would have been a buzzer beater attempt, and it was Westbrook's rotation to get to the corner. So he flies out, tries to contest it, jumps or whatever. And the ref like saw enough of a contact on the thing to call a shooting foul on the 3-pointer. And Timberwolves hit all 3 free throws and the Nuggets lost. So not only did he miss the free throws to make it a 2-possession game, but he also ended up fouling the shooter in the corner. And he smoked a layup.
Smoked
and
a
he like
freaking
really,
white-
really, really smoked a layup.
That
Like,
part. That part.
transition by himself. So he smoked that. So maybe the free throws was a different game, but he did the same thing against us. Actually, like kind of, yeah.
He
It
missed
was
one. Yeah,
bad stretch
it was
for
bad.
Russ. But
Yeah.
again, I am on the record as a Russell Westbrook stan forever.
Stu, are you? What do you think about Russ?
I think he's a CPS. He's a loser. He
Yeah.
has a MVP, but I mean he's never won shit. So
Yeah.
tough.
What's a CPS?
Ask.
Oh,
CPS.
CP-esque.
Chris
Oh,
Paul
okay.
esque.
Chris Paul-esque.
You know,
Yeah.
a Hall of Famer, but he's never won shit. So I mean,
Right.
He's won
but again, he's
MVP.
got
Chris
the
Paul hasn't won
MVP. He's
MVP.
got the MVP.
He's got the MVP.
He's been to the finals just like Chris Paul has, I guess. But most triple doubles in NBA history.
Did you hear
Dude,
that?
I don't know. I like the way he's been playing for the Nuggets this year. Honestly, he's playing his role good on all the teams now he's going to. So I mean, I'd be down for him kind of in his old age if he's still can kind of put up a triple double whenever he wants. In a sense, he's still putting up like 10, 7, 7 a night for like just doing everything.
Yeah.
I like him, dude. I'd be down
My
to sign him
thing-
for a bet.
Like
You
all
would?
of us dumb fans can have our opinions about him, but Nikola Jokic, who I think we all agree is the best player on the planet right now,
Yeah.
he's the one that wanted Westbrook in Denver.
Yeah.
And if you got the best player in the world vouching for the guy, I think that says something. But anyways, yeah, as you said, Stuart, you want to sign Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, what?
I'd be down.
Why would you be down after talking all this mess about CP and how he's not a winner? And like, don't rub off on the boys too much and learn, but don't learn that much. Like, why would you be down for Russ?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, we're already kind of saying we don't see us being a championship team next year anyways. We still got to take the right steps. At least he'd be another vet coming in who kind of has that same frame and body as Castle, can teach him how to use it.
Yeah.
I'm a Westbrook stan, but I
am not a
want him on the
Westbrook
starter.
stan. I am not a Westbrook stan.
I feel like Pop likes him dead ass.
What?
I
I
bet
know
he
he's a really
does.
good guy.
Yeah.
I know. I heard he's like actually like a really nice
good
person.
guy.
Like he's like super uber competitive, obviously, which I always loved about him. That's what I will say.
And that's
what I will
what
give
Pop
him.
likes from him, I think. Yeah.
Yes. But just his game in general, it just obviously never translated into winning. I don't know if you heard this story. We'll get off of this in a second. But supposedly there was a rumor that Kobe had tried to sort of like mentor and basically whisper in Westbrook's ear during one of the Olympics in 2012 or whatever, basically being like, "Yo, you're the guy on that
Really?
Westbrook on that OKC
On the
team.
USA team?
No, like you're the guy on your OKC
in
team."
Oklahoma.
And so he's like, like you got it. Like, I know KD's KD, but like you're you. And basically was like trying to get him to be extra.
So the whole
Westbrook
split comes back to Kobe
because
in a way.
Yeah. And so, I mean, kind of, I don't know. I don't know.
Never heard that. That's a cool story.
I don't know if there's any truth to that, but if you kind of look at what happened, there's games where Westbrook shot him out of the game, and I don't know, and you got KD on your team. Whatever. We will move on. We beat the Nuggets. We lose to the Cavs. That was tough because it was one of those where I'm watching. It was kind of reminding me of the Orlando Magic game last week where I didn't care for us to win. I just wanted to watch the game. And then as the game goes on, I kind of like am drawn into it again. I'm like, please don't, let's make this a game. And we're down 11, we're down 12, down 15, whatever it was. And then we make our way back. We have a chance to win the dang game. And Mitch Johnson draws up a play. I like the play. Nice little draw up play for Harrison Barnes. He was having a good game. Obviously, one of our vets on the team still, but still young enough and big enough to kind of get to a spot.
Yeah, he had 23.
Yeah, 23 in the game.
It made sense. A mismatch.
Yep, and he had the mismatch. He made a nice little move. I thought he went too late, but he had a nice little, half spin or like quarter spin move. Kind of shook the guy a little bit. Got right into the middle of the lane, and he went for a floater. He floated it over. And it wasn't like Evan Mobley who was coming over to help and try to swat the shot. It was Max Strus who came over and tried to block the shot. I think he should have just gone up and just jump stopped and just boom, played it off.
Yeah, we were watching together and did a running hook across the lane, which is tough even for a big man. And we were like, he should have just came to a jump stop and just floated it right up with his right hand. Again, there was no one helping at the rim who was a shot block threat. So, I mean, it was tough, but, it is what it is.
But it's okay because he got his revenge. He got a second opportunity, and he capitalized. And the degree of difficulty on that shot compared to the other shot was like 10x. It was crazy, dude.
I do like that we went back to him.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Me too. We lost to the Blazers and the Clippers. I don't care. It's fine. Whatever. Watched a little bit of that Clippers game. We were in it, and then we weren't, then we were, then we weren't, and we just never kind of broke that 12 to 8 point gap until the very end, where we kind of came back and lost by 5. Go ahead.
But I would say if we're just doing the Clippers game quick, we cannot not mention Stephon almost had his highlight of the year.
Oh yeah, he did.
And then the almost dunk on Zoo would have been all over the internet.
Dude, he was so high up.
Yeah.
He was so high up.
What is it, Wob? He was like, he was that close from having his own shoe deal, like just like immediately, like the day after. If you would have landed that dunk.
One clip.
Yeah, dude. I mean, because Stu and I were together. My jaw just dropped. I was like, I could not believe that. How fast he went to that behind the back move, I've never seen that. It was that combo that also made it just super sexy. I just wish he would have finished it. He caught it in transition on the right wing.
Insanely sexy.
It was insane. Yeah, dude. He catches on the right wing, pushes it, jabs behind the back, and then almost throws it down on Zubac all over him. But yeah, he missed. He got fouled, and he had a great game, by the way, but still lost that game. Still lost that game. Do y'all have anything to say about that one or any of those other ones? I don't want to gloss over if y'all have anything else to say.
Let's gloss, bro. Honestly, I don't have a lot to say about any of this stuff other than like it's clear that the objective has been to let Stephon be Stephon in any and all capacity and give him the green light. He's taken that green light very seriously, I guess is the word that I'll use. Because yeah, he's pushing for these triple doubles, man. He's close. Like we said, 15, 15, and 9 against the Nuggets. And then against the Cavs, it was 22, 9 rebounds, 11 assists. Against the Clippers, he wasn't quite there with the rebounding, but still had 19 and 8. Like he's really been pushing to close out this award, like we were talking about before we went live on this show. But yeah, it's been the Stephon Castle showcase, and I'm here for it. I love it.
Question is, when he breaks out like this his rookie year, do you think the 3 teams who picked in front of us who didn't take him, do you think they start to regret their choice? Or are they like, Sarr is still a future all-star, hopefully. Reza Shea still could be the best 3-and-D wing one day, Or are they like, dude, we messed up so hard we didn't take Castle?
It probably depends on who in the organization you're talking about. Because if you're going to ask the general manager, even if that's like his core thought is that, oh man, like we could have had Stephon Castle.
Right.
He'll never say that to anybody outside of his own home because you make that pick and whatever it is, you have 3 years, 4 years of your job to watch that development play out before there's a real decision made on was this a good pick or was it not. But if you're asking like the head coach, if they didn't have any as much personnel selection power, they're probably like, oh my God, dude, like look at Stephon Castle. He's going crazy. And he's getting some momentum too in more than just San Antonio media. Like I know he's had some flares and some highlights or whatever, but Zach Lowe is back on the Ringer. Bill Simmons picked him up, which thank God Zach Lowe is talking about basketball again. The world is a better place. But he had Kirk Goldsberry on, former Spurs guy, and they were talking about Stephon Castle, about how amazing he's been, about how he's locked up Rookie of the Year. His rebounding has been really, really great for a guard. And Goldsberry still has a bunch of contacts within our organization, and talking about how everybody, they're not even looking at stats. They're looking at the intangibles. They're looking at the leadership. They're looking at how he carries himself, his attitude on the floor, the extra winning plays that he makes. But if that's what they're talking about, and here we are talking about how he's like nearing a triple-double every other game, dude, deadly combo. Deadly combo for the Force. So if it was me, yes, I'd be like just hitting myself on top of the head like he was right there. Look at him, go.
Right. Now, I'm also going back to pre-draft. I seem to remember a report coming out saying that he didn't want to play point guard, or he didn't want to play. He wanted to play point guard. Sorry, excuse me, in the NBA. And so the Hawks were like, well, we got Trae Young over here. So I mean, like he wants to play point guard, and like he's supposed to be, our number 1 pick.
Yeah,
like,
they just traded DeJounte. Why we get another 6'6" star?
Right. Exactly. So I think that probably shot him off. I think they're those GMs are probably low key, a little bit, hitting themselves, or a little bit jealous, if I had to guess. But then again, Reese Shea has been good for the Hawks and what they've been trying to do this year. So I mean, like,
Mm,
I think they're probably just trying to like focus on themselves and just be grateful for what they have.
I
that's
think if
fair.
there's any organization that is a little bit salty about it, it's got to be Houston at 3 because Reed
Oh, right.
Shepherd
Right.
just like I think Reed
I
Shepherd is going to be fine, but he doesn't have. There's not a spot for him on the Rockets. Stephon Castle would have made room on that team.
Oh, yeah, for
I don't
sure.
know if it well, yeah, like you just said, you want made because I don't know if it was someone with a blue check or not. But I saw a tweet on X that said like Reed Shepard would be the runaway favorite of Rookie of the Year if he was getting the same minutes as all the other guys were in the NBA. I'm like, well, how can you say that? But then
It's
I'm
a
like,
big
well,
if.
maybe he would. So
That's a
but
big if, though.
yeah, but like
Not,
then you just said Stephon Castle would have made his way onto the team.
yeah.
So
Because the
maybe I don't
whole,
know.
yeah, the whole thing with Ime not playing Reed Shepherd, from what I've heard, is that he can't guard at
Yeah,
the
he's not an Ime
level
type
that
of guy.
Ime Udoka wants, a guard on the second best team record wide in the Western Conference to be able to do. Like they're too far along in the progression to have a defensive liability for the style of play that they choose to use. So I think there's nothing wrong with how Stephon Castle guards at all, and he's got all the other playmaking ability. Yeah.
Dude, he
So
would have
I
been
think
scary with
I
him and
think
Amen.
between
Oh
oh
gosh.
man
And Jalen.
that
Oh, dude,
woo.
that would have been scary. Like just that combo of
Dude, yeah, you
defensive
were like
guard.
Castle, Jalen Green, and Amen Thompson for your 1 through 3. And then
That's
you've got Jabari Parker and Shengun. Man, Houston
Sheesh.
kicking yourself. That's gotta
Yeah.
suck,
yeah, it's
Houston.
gonna
Aren't
suck.
you guys
Don't you
pissed?
don't you feel bad about yourself?
Y'all can't catch a
they're
break against us again?
they're probably gonna have to include Reed in any if they're getting any shot at KD or anything like that. They're gonna have to
Right,
include Reed. So I mean,
right.
I
he
mean,
might just
yeah,
his
it'll
first
be
year or two might be wasted dead ass. So
Yeah.
sucks.
yeah. But
Stick.
as Jeremy says, F Houston.
Yeah,
Yeah.
first. Sticking on the Stephon topic, though, as I was saying in our group message, and right before we were recording, I know Stephon has the green light and he's been taking full advantage, as you just said, Reagan. But I don't see a world next year where he doesn't average at least 18 to 20 points a game next year. I was talking to people engaging online with you guys, other people who I'm friends with, and I'm asking them, hey, what do you expect each player to average next year? And everyone says Stephon's in like the 14, 13, 14 a game range. This was before he was averaging. He bumped up his average to end the year. I think he's at like 14 and a half right now. I was always like, he could be 16 easy. And now I think that could be 18 and 20 just based off of how easy he makes it look. It's crazy. I said that even if he doesn't improve his 3-point shooting ability a ton by next year. I think if he could just get a midi by next year and just sort of just not have to go all the way downhill and kind of switch it up in that way, it's game over. I think he can
Yep.
easily get 18 to 20 just
Like you
based on
just
his
said,
current skill set.
yeah, not
Wow.
even like you said, not even just by next year, but do you think about like when our championship windows open in 3-4 years? Like we're gonna have De'Aaron who can do anything, create all of his own shots. Wemby same, and Castle who can do all that too, and the defending. Like oh my gosh, he's gonna be so good. We might have two like super max guys on our team,
Mm-hmm.
which by
That's
then
true.
we'll obviously have to trade Fox. But like he's just on the trajectory straight upward to
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
he's gonna be like a massive max contract. It's gonna be crazy. He's so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Alec, I agree with your point, but there's a big if attached to it for me.
Okay.
That if is Devin Vassell off
Oh.
of our roster.
Oh.
Devin
Oh.
Vassell is a 15, 16 kind of, shots per game kind of guy. That's where
To get
he
his numbers.
thrives.
Yeah.
That's to be the scorer that he wants to be and that he can be sometimes. He takes up that kind of volume. And when you add Victor Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox back into the fold, and you're looking for Stephon Castle to be that third guy of a big three, that has to squeeze out Devin Vassell. And you talked to Stewart or you talked about a few weeks ago about like, hey, Devin's gonna have to move to the bench, which I think would benefit a whole lot of people, but I don't think he's gonna sit for that or stand for that, however you want to phrase it.
Yeah.
I think he's got to go, man, because he's not going to just sit there, come off the bench, play 14 minutes a game, and take 6 shots. That's not like as soon as his confidence goes whatsoever, he's not the same player. So I think that has to go.
Yeah, even like 10 to 12 shots off the bench, still not good enough for him, especially when he's not going to be making 7, 8 of them because of his consistency. So we don't need him coming off the bench and jacking up 15 to 20. Like, that's just the numbers aren't going to add up. Hopefully, we still have Keldon, who should get 8, 9, 10 shots a game like he has this whole season. And Keldon, we still see Keldon every once in a while go for 20, but he's right along averaging 10, 12, 13 points all season, but it's consistent. And Devin, yeah,
More consistent than Devin. I think Keldon still had his down spots, but it's more consistent than Devin. His game is more translatable to a bench scorer than what Devin Vassell is. And like, I don't know if y'all saw, but Gary Trent broke the Milwaukee Bucks record for most threes off the bench in the season, and Michael Redd was the previous record holder for over 20 years of that record. And he came out, Michael Redd did today, and said, hey, like, obviously the volume's a lot different in this league, but I'm really, really proud of Gary Trent. It takes a whole lot. Shooting off the bench is an art form, and Gary Trent has figured that out and become an expert at it. I don't think, like, so if it's an art form and you have to really work at figuring out how to shoot off the bench when you've been a starter or whatever, that's a few more years of figuring that out from Devin if we're going to push him to the bench, and that's not with the progression that we're hoping for. So I just don't think it works.
That's really an interesting point.
I'm fully with you. I'm fully with you, Reagan. But also, I just do not see the Spurs when we just like he still has 3 years left after this season. There's no way we're just gonna not, because it's not in us. It's not what we do. We're not just gonna cut him, like feed him to the wolves. We're gonna at least give him a shot next year in a full bench roll, hopefully full bench roll, and see if it does work. And then hopefully if it doesn't, whatever. Boy, there's just no way without even testing it we cut. That's just not how our front office works. It sucks, but
that's fair. I mean, that's.
I just don't think we want because he has so much upside. And we know. I mean, we think he's a $30 million a year guy. They wouldn't have given him the money, so there's no way they don't just give him the opportunity for one more summer of practice, and and then give him the chance, see if he can adapt off the bench and all that. I just don't see us cutting him, even though
you're right. It's not what we do. It's not who we are as an organization. I get it. I wish we would be able to kind of cut bait sometimes a little bit more quickly, but that is why we develop so much trust within the league. Now, on the other side of that, you bring up our famous talking point over the last 6 weeks of like, he's not worth $30 million. So I came across this post by a guy named Matt Issa. He's a writer for Forbes sports section. And he put together a formula that estimates production value relative to a player's annual salary that they're being paid. And he listed out the top 10 worst contracts among players who played at least 50 games this season. So the way that this works is, like I said, he has a formula that puts up their production value in millions, compares that to the salary, and then it's either a positive or a deficit.
Okay.
Devin Vassell ranks number 8 worst non-injury contracts in the league this year. So his 2024-25 salary comes in at $29.3 million. His production value, according to Matt Issa, is just $9.3 million. So he's a $20 million deficit from what he's being paid compared to what he's produced. Top 7 in front of him are Jaylen Brown. Which, I mean, $49 million a year, $18.8 million production value. That's a $30 million deficit. That's the worst in the league. After that, it's Nick Claxton, Kyle Kuzma, Terry Rozier, Zach LaVine, LeBron James, and then Patrick Williams before Devin Vassell.
Williams, what's his contract?
He's at $18 million a year, and his production value is somehow negative $2.7 million.
Dang.
So again, I don't know what goes into the formula here to figure out what the production value is, but it says data was provided by Dunks and Threes at basketballreference.com. So again, it's one of the worst contracts in basketball. What he's being paid versus what he's produced. We all know that we think it's a mental thing. If we're going to move him to the bench and ask him to take 8 to 12 shots a game, he's shot, bro. He doesn't stand a chance. I think he would be better served playing a starting role on another team but based on what Stephon Castle's producing and what we know De'Aaron Fox is going to be and what Wemby's going to be, where do those shots come from?
Yeah. So I think y'all maybe it was, I don't know if y'all have heard this before. It's like, I think you're right about everything. I just didn't like your tone. I think maybe the last couple of weeks I've just been like, hey guys, just relax on the boy, relax on Devin. But I think y'all were pretty cool headed about it, and y'all mentioned it in a way. I don't know, maybe it was because we were talking about both Devin and Stephon at the same conversation. I think y'all are right, man. But I also think Stewart's right in the sense that we are going to keep him. I don't think we're going to cut him because that's what we do. So the question is, practically, does that mean that Stephon has to take less of a role next year, like be less of himself, like kind of cut back? I mean, he'll be better, but does he have to be more efficient? Does he have to take less shots? And what does that mean if Devin has to be Devin and get 12 to 15 a game just to produce the same kind of numbers that he likes to, or that we expect him to, I guess I should say. Yeah, that's just a really interesting conversation to
I don't
have.
like it.
Yeah, right. Does Stephon have to be less of himself in order for that to all work?
I think it's
I
fair
think
to
the
say
answer
we
is
can all
yes.
agree. Yeah, yes. But I think we can all like fairly say, and our front office would hopefully say, like, it's arguable, if not obvious, like Castle is, if not already, going to be very soon a way better player than Devin. So why would we stop that just for Devin's sake? Oh, poor Devin. We don't want to do that to him. Like, what? That's just stupidity, you know? When our
Yeah.
future is this guy who's 19 years old, Devin's already 25. Like, why would we do that?
Yeah. Ah,
People
man.
say it all the time, man. The NBA is a business. And like I get that the Spurs err on the side of like the human connection a lot more, and that's what I love about our organization. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like you can't ignore what Stephon Castle's doing. So
Yeah.
Right. The only thing I would say go to kind of wrap this up is two things. One is I'm curious to see if Stephon can be better when he's less ball dominant. Like he does tend to take a lot of dribbles whenever he like gets to his spot, right? Like he's really good
yeah.
at making the right play, right pass. I mean, you saw last night in that Warriors game. I mean, he had that sort of dump down pass to Keldon for the go ahead. But he does tend to dribble a lot, right? I don't know if you noticed that, right? Like
Yeah,
before he
I mean
sort
he
of gets
likes to lull
downhill.
guys to sleep. That's what like sets up
Yeah,
his change of pace, change of
right.
direction. Yeah.
So I wonder if he can do that less and still be as effective. That would be my biggest, hugest, most
Also,
like
yeah,
that would be god tier
he
stuff.
might have to because he's going to be on the floor with Fox and Wemby.
And Wemby,
Yeah.
right,
He's gonna
So
have to
he's
figure
going to
that
have
out.
to.
right, yeah,
Honestly,
But like
maybe
think
there's
of
something like, I don't know. I don't want to say because we obviously don't want him sitting in the corner, but if he can be a Harrison knockdown like 3-point shooter in that sense, just like work on the corner three this whole summer and have that in your bag, that already help a shit ton too. If
it would
someone
help,
can't,
but
because right now everyone still lags off him on a shot. Everyone still goes under the screens for him to
yep,
pull up threes. If we
yep,
can take that away, we got something really cooking.
I
But
think for him, dude, I think it's all about off ball cutting,
mm,
slashing, turning into more of that. Like
mm,
just start cutting and slashing and being bigger and stronger than people. Again, like we've talked about, like you put him in the lab with an NBA level training staff and an NBA level strength and conditioning coach, and you beef him up even a little bit more from what he is now, he's gonna be just bulldozing people. And if you can find ways to get him cutting and slashing and making reads off of all the gravity. We talk about Steph Curry gravity. It's that Wemby and Fox gravity that's going to be pulling guys away. If you can, we know both those two are willing passers. So they respect Steph Castle.
right,
So if he's going to make those right cuts and find openings, they'll find him.
yeah.
right,
I
yeah,
think there's so many things that you can play off here. You can start getting some flex actions with multiple screens. You can get double aways. You put Fox and Castle and pick and rolls. You do the inverted pick and rolls and everything. I think it's going to be really cool stuff. And whoever the head coach is going to be is going to have so many options in front of them to figure it out.
This offseason, I'm gonna have to go back and like rewatch. I guess there was only 5 games before Wemby went out, but like all 5 of those games with Fox and Wemby
mm,
together, and
Yeah.
when Castle was on the floor at the same time, and see how we were producing, see how we looked on D on offense, what was going on. Because
yeah,
I'm just so curious. Like
yeah,
now,
same.
I mean, Stephon's way better even now than he was just 2 months ago. But oh god, it just makes me so giddy for next year. Like all 3 of them on the floor together.
And imagine we get a top 4 pick. Oh man, come on.
Woo!
Yeah, sheesh. And the last thing I was going to say in this whole Stephon Devin conversation is again probably the best take of the year. The most forward thinking take of the year was Stu's take of should we not take Devin off the bench? I mean, am I crazy to think that? And we were all like, what? No. I mean, we posted it all over
Back in
social media at this
November.
point. Yeah, back in November. And sure enough, now this is the assumed position.
He has
Now
to
this
be off
is
the
he
bench from now
has to
on.
be off the
There's
bench.
no room on starting. Yeah.
So, all right, that's all. That was the last thing I had there. And then again, hopefully we can post this in the podcast. But for those Spurs Bros who didn't see, we won last night against the Warriors at the buzzer, 114 to 111. Harrison Barnes saves the day with the game winner. He got his revenge from his miss against the Cavs. It was awesome to see because one because I love Harrison Barnes and he's awesome and he deserves it. But two, because of it's just another year that the Spurs mess with maybe potentially the outcome of the standings in the Western Conference.
Oh yeah,
They
dude.
could have easily gone from hosting a first round playoff series to now having to play in a play-in,
The
depending on the rest of the
Warriors.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Warriors.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because they're now in the 7th spot. And if
Oh
they
my
had an extra
gosh.
win on their record right now, they'd be sitting either 4, 5, or 6, depending on how the tiebreakers shake out with the Nuggets and Clippers.
So just imagine they lose both play-ins, the 7 and 8, and then the second one too. Then they're like, dude, freaking the Spurs of all teams are going to be the
Yeah.
ones. Oh, that'd be great.
Did it again, boys.
Just like Denver last year, man.
Denver.
Devontae
It
Graham
was
hits that shot
Devontae's
last
floater.
year. Yeah,
Yeah.
bro.
Dude,
Yeah.
honest to God, let's bring Devontae back next year.
Yes.
Off the bench?
Yes.
Sheesh, I'm
Where's he
down,
playing
man.
at?
Yeah.
They're gonna
No,
have to
I'm
get him on a
super
plane
down.
to get him back in the
Dude,
States.
dead
most
ass, that guy
likely.
might be in Europe now. I haven't seen him around the league this whole year. I don't even remember who we traded him to at the beginning of the season.
No, either way, I think going back to that Denver game last year, that was also the game where Jamal Murray was sort of testing Wemby, right? He was sort of poking the bear, right? And then Wemby kind of came back and made that a game, right?
Wemby got us back in it. Yeah, he
Yeah.
had
Murray
like
and Aaron Gordon too.
he had like
And
those
Aaron
like
Gordon.
9 points or 12 points in like 2 minutes with 2 blocks and an
Yup.
assist. He just went off.
Logo 3, and then Devontae with the win. That was amazing to see. We shook up the standings, as we've said multiple times on this podcast, for the playoffs last year, and we potentially did it again with the Warriors this year. It was funny because it's not like they were sitting any of their guys expecting that they'd get a win with just Steph and Draymond or whatever. They had Buddy and Butler and
The
Kuminga
shot was right in Jimmy Butler's face.
right in his face, dude. It was amazing. They literally had their full squad and they blew it, dude. They
First
absolutely
Spurs
blew
buzzer
it.
beater since 2019. And
Wow.
the last one before that was 2013. So this was like the third buzzer beater in the last 12 years.
Like
for the-
actual
like
winning
true
end of
buzzer
game.
beater game winning shot.
Wow.
Yeah. You know, you see buzzer beater and you think it happens all the time. It's not a common thing to have a true buzzer beater. Yeah. It was tight.
Awesome. That was the rest of it. The rest of the season is, well, we have 2 games left, I believe. One is tomorrow against the Phoenix Suns, and the last game of the season is that Sunday against the Toronto Raptors. So that's the 2024-2025 season, boys. We'll be back next week to recap it all. I know we kind of already did that a little bit, but man,
Yep.
that's what we got. Do y'all have any predictions for the last 2 games?
I don't know,
1-1.
bro. I hope we keep the Suns out of the play-in, honestly. Are they already eliminated?
They're eliminated, I think.
They were already? Okay.
Yeah, I think they were.
Yeah, they're in hell. So
Which means KD is for sure gone.
everything I've seen is it's a known fact that KD's going to get traded this summer. So
Right. So here's the question. Now let me get into this really quickly. Who's the Celtics' or who's the Phoenix's last game of the year? They're against the Kings. Okay, so here's what's interesting. I just read something today. We're kind of blending topics here of lottery odds, right? So I read that per Paul Garcia, San Antonio must drop one of their last 2 games if Phoenix and Portland lose out to hang on to the 8th best odds. So Phoenix obviously is eliminated. So do they even have the incentive to try to win, number one? And the number 2 is I'm just looking at Phoenix's last 2 games. It's us and then the Kings. The Kings they're not going to get 8th place. So, I mean, they're kind of locked in. Doesn't really matter. So 9 versus 10, I guess they're maybe fighting with the Mavericks. But I'm just wondering, like, does Phoenix try to lose that game? And do you think KD, if he gets to play, is like, you know what? No, I don't care if you're trying to lose the game. I'm going to go ahead and want to win the game because I want out of here.
I mean, they're all
Dude,
professionals.
it should be Stephon Castle and the Austin Spurs against the Suns. That's what it should be.
Yeah.
For
Yeah.
real. Like we have no business winning that game.
Right. Yeah. Right. We need to lock in. I'm just gonna say it right now. We need to lock in 8th best odds. I'm sorry. I don't want 9th best. So, but again, I guess that's if Phoenix.
It's a big drop off, dude.
Yeah.
Top 4 at 8 is a 26% chance. At 9, it's only a 17% chance at a top 4 pick. So
Yeah.
it's a big difference right there. We cannot really, I mean, we can afford it, but I'm gonna say we cannot afford to win either of these games and potentially slide down to 9 in the lottery odds. Can't happen.
We ain't winning.
If we lose to Phoenix, I think we're good. Then we can just go ahead and have a moral victory to end the season.
We're fine.
Yeah. So that's fine. So let's just I guess let's just hope that Katie has a good second to last game of the year, and then we go ahead and beat Jakob Poeltl. And
Suns have lost 8 in a row.
That's wild. They are a bad basketball team.
That's bad.
They are a bad basketball team.
Is Coach Bud a bad coach?
No, they just suck together. Like they just can't play defense.
I mean, mortgage their future, dude. Matt Ishbia came in. It's coaching carousel and player carousel. It's crazy. I saw something like an hour ago before we started recording that all like 29 of the 30 NBA teams are either in the playoffs, in the play-in, or in the draft lottery, and the Suns are the only team that's not in any of those.
Oh my God.
As the standings sit, they're going to miss the play-in, which means they miss the playoffs, and they don't have a single one of their picks.
I say, who is their pick this year?
I think everything went to Washington.
Is it Brooklyn or Washington?
It's either them or Houston. It's one of the two.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Dude. They need to go ahead and just scratch it. Done. Be done. Yeah. Adios.
They're in
Bye-bye.
hell, dude. Their owners might be like Nico Harrison level bad.
It's that bad. I mean, at least the Mavs the Mavs got destroyed in that trade.
Let's get spinning.
Let's get spinning. Actually, one last thing before we get spinning, as I pull up the spins, is we mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, and I wanted to squeeze it in there, but I didn't get a chance to. We said Keldon Johnson. He deserves a spot to be on the roster for the next however many years, 12 years, if possible, just because of who he is. He's a culture guy. He plays his role. He's done what he's needed to do, and he's just been a steady rock for us in this whole time. And I read somewhere that he just moved into number 1 of most points scored off the bench in a single season in Spurs franchise history. He passed up Manu Ginobili, who scored 927 points in 2007-2008 year. Keldon Johnson, this was in April 8th, so a couple days ago.
Wow.
He went to 928. He passed up Manu officially, and there's still 2 games left in the year, so he could have a chance, not really, to get to 1,000 points off the bench, which would be crazy. Congratulations to Keldon. Kudos to you, my guy. I appreciate you. I do love Keldon. I love what he does for the city and who he is for our team. Let's go. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
He's at 956. Real quick, he's at 956.
He could
hit it.
Yeah, so he's got it. What is that? That's
got to have one big game.
He's 44. So yeah, 22 points in each game, and he's there.
Dude, he could.
That'd be pretty sick. 1,000
awesome.
points off the bench.
Because I'm trying to think, even with all of our rotation lineups this year and stuff, did he never get a start this season? Did we never throw him in there?
We might have. I'm not sure though. I'm not sure.
I'm sure he started a game or two, but
yeah. Let's see.
I don't know.
All right, here we are, boys. We're back.
Come on, number 1. Wait. What was last week? Was 2, right, or 3?
It was both. We spun once. It was 2, and then the second time we spun again, and we got 3.
Yeah, and we were. That was dope. We were good with that.
And it looks like we're locked in at.
You were scared of the 2 pick, those 2.
I know, because I don't want to make the wrong decision.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. And Sim.
Oh no.
9. Asa Newell.
No, but look who's won. Oh God.
Oh no.
God.
Oh no.
Spin again. Spin again.
Wait,
Spin
so
again. Get that off.
So the Rockets do have Phoenix's pick. That's crazy.
Yeah. Wait,
All
what were
right.
we? 9?
We're 9. 9
Not
and
good.
15.
Asa.
All right, one more time. And we're 2.
Oh no.
But
Oh,
still, Houston again.
Oh no, not good. Not good.
Wow,
bad
bro.
vibes, dude.
Bad vibes.
Bad
Get me off.
vibes.
Get me off. Ah,
That's
wow.
better. That's better at least.
Dude, and look at this. The Hawks have the Kings' pick, I guess, in the trade.
Yeah,
In
I
a
just
trade.
realized this.
Gee, so they're gonna be picking ahead of us no
They're gonna
matter.
end up picking ahead of their own pick. Yeah.
That sucks. That sucks.
It's all
Dang
right.
it.
We still have the next 2 years. There's no way they keep this up.
So at
Trade's
9
gone.
here, yeah, at 9 here, it's got us picking Asa Newell. And I think somebody on this pod has said not a
Me,
fan. Yeah,
hate him.
Stu. You don't like that?
Don't like
6'10"?
it. Don't like it.
I mean, he does remind me a
Why
little bit
not?
of a
Tell the
Mamu.
people why not.
He's Mamu,
He's
baby
Mamu, that's
Mamu.
right.
Bro,
Yeah.
and you know what's crazy? I think Mamu also went to Montverde Academy, and look at Ace Noel
Yeah.
went to
No
Montverde.
way.
That's
Really?
crazy. That's crazy.
Mamu was good enough for Montverde?
Yeah, I think so, dude. I'm pretty sure he
No.
was over there. Yeah. Fact
Yeah,
check
I
me on
don't
that.
want him.
Yeah. Well, he's got as much stacked strength as he does set weaknesses, so I'll say
He did
that.
go to Montverde. Damn.
Yeah, dude. That's what I'm saying.
Who
Give him a
knew?
contract.
I don't know why
Who paid us that money though?
it has Toronto taking Maluach. They have like Jakob. They don't need him.
Right.
They can move Jakob if they pick Malawach though.
Yeah, then we'll take Jakob. Perfect.
I
Whoever would have thought I'd be saying that, huh?
know, right? That's what we said like 2 months ago.
Jakob for Devin.
Straight up, bro.
Jakob for Devin. We
That's
somehow
funny.
get a top. We somehow get a top 5 pick, top 4 pick. We pick Trey Johnson. We're fine. It's a scratch, bro. We're
Yeah,
fine.
he's Devin all over again.
No, we're Devin all over again. I think he's better. He's gonna be better than Devin.
Cooper flag not clutch.
Oh, nah,
Eh.
that was tough. That's a tough. That's
Eh.
tough. That was tough. That was tough. You can't make them all. He did get. I mean, they don't.
I
Well, that
mean,
was a
they
team.
played like 4 1-possession games this year, and in 3 of the 4 of them, he either missed a shot or like fell down.
Good thing he has to be a second option with Wemby. That was gonna be
Well,
good.
if we don't get number 1, he's staying. He wants to be a Spur, so he'll go win the Natty next season.
Yeah,
then-
and then we're a playoff team, and we get there how?
Atlanta.
We swap
Atlanta.
with the Hawks.
Yeah,
If not, and if we don't get Cooper,
And
we
they
get
get
AJ
Keldon
to
Johnson.
advance
and
it.
yeah, or we 1 or 2, and we get
Okay,
AJ.
okay, yeah, that's fine.
It's not our fault. Everyone wants to be a Spur these days.
It's not. They just got to get in line.
That's just
So, okay, one thing we missed. Coaching. This is a big topic, and the last week, this, include this or not, Alec, honestly, but to me, this is a big topic, and I feel like the surprising firings of both Taylor Jenkins and Michael Malone in the last 10 days in the NBA, this goes to playoffs, has actually very much so increased the pressure on the San Antonio Spurs and Greg Popovich to make a decision about what's going to happen. It cannot linger past the draft into free agency, past training camp. These coaches are elite talent. I think 95% of the league was surprised about the Taylor Jenkins firing, and I think 99.9% of the league was surprised about the Michael Malone firing.
Yeah.
These are both guys that have connections to the San Antonio Spurs organization, that are recognized across the league as elite head coaching talent, who have proven themselves. Michael Malone has won a championship in Denver, its only championship in Denver Nuggets history. Taylor Jenkins has had the Grizzlies atop the Western Conference for years now, despite Ja Morant missing dozens of games each season and tons of injury problems and Dylan Brooks problems on that roster over the last few years. Like, as much as we want Pop back, and as much as we know we don't, the three of us don't want Mitch Johnson to take the helm permanently, we got to make a decision here, because this is a very rare opportunity where two guys at that level in their prime of their coaching years are available at the same time, and we might have an opening. I love Pop. I would always prefer Pop over anybody, but if he's not going to be able to come, he's got to make that decision right now.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I completely agree, brother. I'm with you.
I mean, if you have the option, knowing what you know about Pop versus Jenkins or Malone, who are you taking?
I'm taking Big Mike if no Pop, but again, Pop is always number one for us. Thing is, what if he, in his state of mind right now, he tells us, "Yeah, I'm good, like I'm 100%, I'll be back." But you can't predict the future. What if another stroke happened on week one of next season or a month before next season? That like so. Even if he says right now, that's still 7 months till next season. Which don't even want to. That makes me sad thinking about 7 months all the way with us first ball. But I
Six
mean,
months. 6 months.
6. But it's
October.
just so like it's tough. It's tough to say. But if Pop did say I'm done, I'm going to call it. I'm picking Mike over Taylor. Go to with either of them for sure. But Mike just has the championship pedigree that Taylor doesn't have yet. But both of them, yeah, like you said, right, it's super rare. It's like it's almost falling into line, almost like the one time in the last 30 years the Spurs have needed a new coach, and then top like not top two, but like
I,
two probably top 10 coaches for sure got
easy.
all of a
Yeah.
sudden available this year. Yeah, I mean, like you said, some decisions have to be made soon because those guys are going to get scooped up hella quick.
I think Michael Malone, I'd also like to take. He's so good, dude. I think he's so good. I think he's done just a phenomenal job with the Nuggets organization. I'm sure Jokic was pissed. I mean, you saw his reaction afterwards. He was like, I mean, it wasn't a conversation. It was a decision that they made. So I mean, I had to go with it. Yeah, I'd probably take him. My only question is, I mean, I don't know like who he'd do this to, but someone was saying like part of the kerfuffle was he was very lenient with Russell Westbrook. He was given the superstar treatment to Russell
Mm.
Westbrook, even though he's past his prime and stuff, like he was giving to Jokic. You don't you're not going to yell at Jokic or whatever when he makes a mistake because he's the greatest player in the world, right? And he knows what to do.
It's
But
interesting.
but he was kind of the same way. I don't know if this is true or not, but he was kind of the same way with Russell, and some folks didn't like that. But I don't know who he'd do that with, like on the Spurs. Like who would he be that way with? But I don't think he
Yeah.
would. So
One more quick. I saw like the odds came out now today, and like it's old Dan Hurley again. He's top of the list for the Nuggets apparently. Do you think we would make a shot at make a run at him? Would
I
y'all be
don't
good
think
with that?
Hurley's
Would
going
y'all want
anywhere.
him over either of the other two? Let's say that.
I wouldn't.
Who's
I
never
I love
coached
Dan
an
Hurley,
NBA
but
game? Yeah.
he was just on part of my take yesterday, and he's talking about like the fire of college basketball and how he wants to get back and recruiting and all this stuff.
Yeah.
I think Hurley flirted with it last year with the Lakers, but I don't think
Mm-hmm.
he's going to be an NBA guy.
I think so too. I think
At least
that's
not right
right.
now.
Yeah.
But I would take Malone.
Yeah.
I agree with you guys. I think he's the best guy on the market right now. Um, nobody thought he would be available.
Won a
Nobody.
championship just 2 years ago. I mean, geez, like
Yeah.
it's not like 10 years. Oh, he's not like a Doc Rivers. Like, oh, in 2008 he won a championship. Therefore,
Yeah.
he gets he gets to go around the
The
league and
15-year leash. Yeah.
right. Yeah. So no, he's 2 years ago he won a dang championship. So
And 5 games
um
from the playoffs, bro. I think that like that's got to be the most shocking head coach firing in
As the
NBA
four seed,
history,
it's crazy.
maybe.
yeah.
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 No,
I
that's a
don't
great
know.
topic. I'd love to dig into more of that next week if
I
possible,
think
or if
there's
you
going to
want
be a
to.
lot of that to talk about once we get
Yeah.
to the off season, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. I'm sure everyone will agree too. Because and then imagine the squad that he builds with them. I mean, what if he somehow got Taylor Jenkins unless he got scooped up, or Mike Brown, right? Who also got pulled, or who also got
Yeah.
trashed
Mm-hmm.
this year.
Whoa, we're not taking Mike Brown. He already had his scuffle with. We're not
Oh,
bringing him
De'Aaron.
back with De'Aaron. That wouldn't make sense.
Oh, well,
Did he have a
no,
scuffle?
De'Aaron wanted him.
He says
De'Aaron
that out
wanted
in
him
public.
around.
He says that in public.
Bro,
I thought it
okay, I
was.
believe him though, because he said that he wanted Mike Brown and then the org fired him and then didn't say anything for 40 days. And then when they said something, they made it sound like it was De'Aaron's fault that he was fired. And he's like,
Yeah.
that's the farthest thing from the truth. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like Fox actually liked Mike Brown. He wanted the stability. Maybe it was just because he wanted the consistency and not another head coaching change in general. But
Yeah.
I think Fox actually wanted Brown around.
Speaking
What
of
do we
Fox,
know?
P.S. We're basically at the end of the letter. We've already said our goodbyes. P.S. Though, did you see the news? I mean, did you see him on the podcast About his pinky, talking about his
Never
I'm
gonna
pinky.
like,
be
dude,
straight
don't be
again.
saying that when you're supposed to get a max this summer. That's
Yeah, his
crazy.
agent's probably like banging the wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. My pinky's never gonna be straight
He
again. Like
said,
what?
Doc said, I've never seen something this bad before. He said, my tissue is growing this way because I waited so long. I was like, oh my gosh, stop.
Yeah, Alec. Yeah,
Yeah.
that text came through. That tweet came through our group chat, and Alec texted us. He was like, "All right, so buddy, get you 5 years, 60 mil. Sound good?"
5 years, 60 mil. Yeah, all said. Let's paper up that 5 years, 60 mil, please.
Yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
Jeez. I know. So that sucks, but hopefully it doesn't affect his shooting motion or whatever. I don't
Hope
know.
not.
I guess we'll see. All
Well,
right, boys.
if that's it, boys, we got 2 games left in the season. It's been fun, but like Alex said at the top, we're gonna keep going. We're gonna have more episode. We're gonna finish up next week, and we plan to keep recording episodes throughout the off season. So stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button down at the bottom, and until next week, from the Spurs Bros, go Spurs, go.